Hi everyone, my name is Madeline. I'm one of Pacific's Study Abroad ambassadors, and today I'm joined with
Jazmyne Calvillo.
Yay, Jazmyne. So can you please tell us your major, where you studied abroad, when you went, and why you studied abroad?
Okay, for sure. So I'm an international relations major, 4th year, woot woot. I studied abroad in Osaka, Japan, specifically at Kansai Gaidai University, go KGU. I studied abroad for the 2022-2023 academic year. And why? So it's a graduation requirement for my major, as Madeline knows.
What
also
about-
because I like it.
What about Japan intrigued you and made you want to study over there?
So in high school, I took Japanese as my elective language. So I have, at this point, like 8 years of learning Japanese under my belt. That's my biggest reason why, I have to be honest. It didn't feel right to like go someplace else after I had put so much time and effort into learning Japanese. I also had the opportunity to go to Japan my senior year of high school for like a little like short exchange. So that made me want to go back to.
So when you were researching your study abroad programs, how did you ultimately decide on the one that you chose?
So it was kind of an impulsive decision. I was looking between 3 different schools, 2 of Pacific's like sister universities, I guess, and then one just like through like I was looking at ISEP and like their programs. Ultimately, I really liked the location of KGU, and I also liked the activities that they advertised for us. So that's what led up to my decision, really.
So you went through ISEP?
I did.
And what type of activities did they have for you guys?
They had a lot of field trips and like a lot of just like random things. Like they had like campus festivals, for example.
That's so cute.
And like we also had like a graduation program where like we could like wear kimono and stuff. So like I really liked the opportunities.
And was there like an orientation event for all of the new students studying abroad?
There was, yeah. So it was like a week-long like orientation.
That's so cute. Were there lots of Americans there, or were there other foreign students?
There were definitely a lot of other foreign students. I think in total there were like 600 or so international students, so pretty big cohort. 300 of us were Americans. I think like the second largest group were Chinese, and then everybody else.
Did you find yourself kind of staying closer to the American population at your school, or were you trying to branch out with the other international students?
I was definitely branching out with other international students, but I was mostly like friends with like the people who I was like surrounded with. So like my next door neighbor, like she was American, so like we kind of like stuck close to each other. But yeah, it was like really easy to like connect with people from like other countries because there were so many of us. Yeah.
For your classes, were they taught by Japanese professors, or were they like mostly Japanese students or other international students? Was your roommate, or not roommate, your neighbor also in your classes?
I call her my roommate too. It's okay. So KGU's like system is like kind of interesting. So they have like the regular like domestic classes, and they also have this thing called an Asian Studies program. So this program runs on like the typical like Western schedule, while like the domestic courses they run on like the Japanese schedule. So this is because I went to like an international school where I think a lot, because I can't come up with a number, a lot of like domestic students, they go abroad. So they have to like transfer to like the like, you know, like the Western standard timeline. For those courses, they're typically taught in English, and a lot of the professors are also like teaching abroad. So like some of them are like,
oh, that's cool. So they're like also doing a study abroad type of thing, but for teaching.
Yeah, some of them
That's
are doing
cool.
that. Also, some of them are just like permanent residents, who've been in Japan for like a really long time.
That's so cool. How did you like pick out your classes, and how did the selection process happen for that?
Yeah, so I was aiming for mostly like anthropology-based courses for my minor. The selection process was really, really nerve-wracking because Japan loves lottery systems. So like I had to like, choose like all of my top courses, but it wasn't guaranteed that I would get into them. And some of them I did not get into. But yeah, it is what it is.
Were you also taking language classes there, or were most of them electives?
Yeah, so we had to take 4 classes. So one language course, which was worth like 5 units. And those were held like 3 days a week. And then we had room for 3 electives, which were worth, I think, 3 units and only happened twice a week. So, yeah.
Oh, that's not bad. That's nice. When you were preparing to study abroad and figuring out your CAR form and finding the classes that would transfer back for Pacific credits, how did that go? Were you able to easily find the classes that you wanted to transfer over?
Yes, because a lot of the courses over there were like labeled as like anthropology, and like that's mainly what I was looking for. And the anthropology professors, or professor now, they're like really, really like lenient. They want us to take like anthro courses. They're like, yes, that will work.
Oh, so that's good. So you had a lot of collaboration between the professors here, and filling out your CAR form kind of independently.
Yeah.
Okay, slay. Love it. What was your housing experience like?
Yeah, so I was in a dorm. They used to have like host families, but unfortunately because of COVID they just kind of like axed that. When I went, there were 2 like housing options. So one was the like more international dorm, where like English wasn't like, well, Japanese wasn't required to live there, and another one was like a Japanese like immersion dorm, where like you had to speak Japanese if you wanted to live there. It wasn't like super enforced, but like it was encouraged. I chose the international living one because the dorm is prettier.
Yeah.
And we got individual rooms and a really nice community kitchen. I was so shocked when I first saw the building because it was absolutely gorgeous. It was a new build, so it was built in like 2018, similar to Calaveras. And because of COVID, I think we were like the first ones to like really live in there for a full academic year.
Oh, so everything was pretty much brand new for you guys. That's really nice. Was the setup of the dorms kind of similar to American dorms, or what were kind of the biggest comparisons and contrasts that you found?
Yeah, so I feel like not similar at all. I feel like in the US we're used to like doubles like in our residence halls, but every single room was a single, and all the furniture was built in. So like we got like a built-in bed, a built-in desk. It was very, very small too, which like if I was here I'd be like,
not paying for this.
Yeah. But over there, like, it was perfectly fine. Yeah, like, oh, they also have like drying racks for us, like in our dorm rooms.
Ooh, that's
it was really
nice.
interesting. They did that. They gave us like our own fridge. It was like really, really nice. They were very attentive to us.
Oh, that's really nice. So were there also
Sure.
like resident assistants type
Yeah,
of thing?
there were RAs, but we had 24-hour like what are they called? English.
Like housing managers type of thing?
Caretakers.
Oh, caretakers.
Caretakers,
Nice.
yeah. So literally 24 hours out of the day, like they would be sitting in like the office, and like you would come in or like you would leave and you would have to like greet them. Like it was a rule. And like after like certain hours, like the only way we could like get in was like through like keying in or like asking someone to let us in, which is very different like than here in the US. Here, like, it's a lot more independent. Over there, like, they're like low-key, you have a curfew. Stick to it.
Was it kind of difficult to acclimate to those different expectations for housing
A little
vibes?
bit, yeah. I mean, like, as an RA now, like, I understand, like, the rules and, like, why they're important, you know, keeping peace and whatnot. But, like, as a resident, it was kind of, like, nerve-wracking, because it's, like, what if I mess up? Like, what are the consequences? But, yeah, I mean, in general, like, it was really nice, because, like, they were, like, really caring for you.
What was your meal plan like? Or did you have a meal plan, or did you cook for yourself?
So we did not have a meal plan. We had, like, on, like, campus cafeterias, but those were, like, open to the public.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
so,
cool.
like, meals were pretty cheap, under, like, 500 yen, which is, like, $3. Super, super cheap. I barely used it, though.
Really?
Yeah, we had a really nice kitchen set up, and, like, they supplied all of, like, the appliances for us, so, like, I taught myself how to cook.
Did you cook a lot of Japanese recipes, or?
I had to.
You had to?
Yeah, it's, like, really hard finding, like, a lot of, like, quote-unquote, like, American ingredients. Like, for example, I, for the life of me, could not find brown sugar.
Really?
I thought that was, like, such a normal thing to have, but apparently it's not.
What were the restaurants like compared to these restaurants, or did you enjoy going out to restaurants?
I went out to a lot of restaurants. They're, in, like, the little, like, college town that we went to, is very suburban. And just, like, all across, like, the streets, like, on the way, like, the walk between, like, campuses, so many, like, little small restaurants to try out.
Aw.
Yeah. So, like, I had, like, a fun time, like, exploring them, but I did prefer cooking or just going to the convenience store.
Yeah, it seems like it's a lot simpler, and especially because you have such a nice kitchen, it's like the perfect resource to use when you're trying to learn new recipes. So you said you did a lot of exploring. How did you spend your weekends abroad?
That's a good question. So drinking culture is very big in Japan. But no, like, I went out a lot. Either, like, just, like, exploring, like, you know, different, like, temples and shrines, or going out to, like, you know, bars and clubs. There's always, like, so much to do, and, like, depending on, like, who I was with, like, they would want to do something else. So I always felt like I had, like, something to do. I was always, like, being pushed and pulled into, like, different directions, which was really nice.